room is that?
My boys.
Hey, we're live, baby. We showing some fans, saying a little something, saying a little something. Our new video is spectacular.
We're live and on time.
Video is spectacular. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Here we are. We're ready to rock and roll for another episode of the Original Sports Podcast with yours truly, Mark Maradei, and my Barbershop crew. Racine, the Dream, down there, lower corner, left. I don't know why it's always dark at his crib. What's going on there? You saving money on electricity? What's the deal?
Yeah, he had like 8 Christmas trees. He got to save money.
Oh shit! Yeah, I see that. Hey, there's Chops. What's up, big man? We can't hear you.
I didn't even realize it. I didn't even realize that I had an old link up. I was sitting here chilling, waiting backstage like the Jackson 5 ready to go on. And I'm like, I'm on the wrong link, Jack.
You look a little bit like Tito.
I can get down now. ABC. I'm digging the chain.
Hey, what's up with Noob's headband there? What do you got going on, Noobs? You ride the snowmobile today?
This is some old Jag attire. Northwest Jags. Football.
You look like a funny pirate. I ain't gonna say what, but a funny pirate.
I'm rooting for the Bucks.
Buccaneers, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go, Mike. Hey, Baker Mayfield. That's all I'm going to say. 2 words. Baker Mayfield. And there's the boy, T-Sizzle.
I just wanted to come on the show tonight and let you all know I'm officially coming back for another season.
Thank God.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank God. Hey, who would have thought that these teams in the playoffs would perform like they did in the blistering cold or even the domed confines? It was an amazing weekend. Matt Stafford returned home to his beloved Detroit. Injury-riddled Dolphins took a little side trip. 70 points a week or 70-point game one week, and now they're barely getting by, man. Mahomes, I kind of feel like he fell back to earth, but boy, did he turn it up this weekend. I thought he played a good game. We're going to dive into the first weekend of the playoffs. We'll look at some different questions that have arisen by watching it. We're going to recap most recent developments in the coaching carousel. We'll hit the button sports topic for T-Sizzle, and we'll have the Dream bust us out with his question of the week. We're glad to have Chops joining us today. So let's get rocking, man. How y'all like my chain, though? Seriously. I'm not down on him yet.
We working on the chain gang. Let's roll.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, that's Vincent's. That's Vincent's. And, man. So football's an all-weather sport, right? But you guys all agree with that. It's an all-weather sport.
Absolutely.
Right? So why did some games go on when it was like -7 degrees outside, but yet another game didn't go on even though it was just snowing? I remember other games in the snow as I was growing up, and shit was crazy. Go ahead, Sheen.
Well, everyone's frozen, but
yeah,
it's the weather.
The game in Buffalo you have because you didn't want people traveling up there and killing each other.
Mm-hmm.
They got the traveling ban.
Hey, look, right out of the gates, Ed Sheehan has to throw this trash out there. Are we talking about the Bills and Josh Allen running over the Steelers? No, we're talking about how Josh Allen did a fake slide, some trash shit, and scored on a 50-some-yard run. Next time when TJ Watt plays, he's going to take his head off. I'm going to send that message right to TJ.
Whoa.
Hopefully TJ does, because Nick, I just watched him run. We're going to
downshift.
Hey, for the record, has TJ ever taken anyone's head off?
TJ Watt hits like a ton of bricks.
Oh, okay.
TJ Watt takes that ball and keeps moving, Jack. Strip sack king.
Maybe with that rocket leg high kick that he does when he sacks people, he takes
conversation to be had. Whoa.
Are we getting into the slide, no slide? Are we going to talk about that?
Let's move on right now and come back to it, okay?
Yeah,
let's come back to
talk about that.
Do it.
Definitely.
Here's the problem. People want to get on here talking shit listen, this guy lives in fucking Germantown and he's a Buffalo fan. Give me a break, okay? Give me a break.
Eddie.
Football.
Come on, Ed.
Racine. Football. All-weather sport. What's the problem?
What you mean, what's the problem?
Why didn't they play it in Buffalo, but they played in Kansas City?
I told you. You can't.
No.
Huh?
But
I don't find that's not a viable excuse.
But here's the thing, Sheen. The tickets were already sold. Okay, so you're not going to sell popcorn to vendors, whatever have you. We've already seen during COVID, they played in stadiums empty. So they could have done that. And to me, it was football is, again, an all-weather sport. You already know the reason the Bills and Chiefs want home field advantage is because weather is terrible during the playoffs. So if you buy a ticket, you're rolling the dough. You're rolling the dice, Chappie. You're rolling the dice.
So if they're in Miami, and they had a hurricane, would they just play during the hurricane?
Well, you can't play during a hurricane.
Play Miami in a hurricane, so we don't even want to go down that road. Did you watch them play last week? 2 weeks ago, when they played the Ravens, that was a torrential downpour the whole entire game.
Dude.
Hey, when I was in New Orleans for a bachelor party, we had a couple hurricanes, and it still went on. But matter of fact is, the Steelers weren't allowed to travel till Saturday or Sunday, so the game couldn't go on because the other team wasn't there.
There was a travel ban, right?
Okay, well then again, my thing would be this: when were the Steelers allowed to travel? They couldn't travel till when? Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
They couldn't
That's
travel.
They always travel anyway. They always travel the night before.
I was about to say they normally travel the night before. But hold on. When were the people there shoveling the snow? Was that Monday afternoon or was that Sunday? And when was that?
I don't know.
Sunday,
but they just kept showing that full shirt on.
What's happening, my man?
Okay, so if they were shoveling Sunday, those people got there. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah. It just, I see all these excuses rolling out here. Somebody wants to tell me about Josh Allen rolling over the Steelers. Okay, Pittsburgh gave up 21 points. We'll come back to it again, but they could have played the game. Figure out a way to play the game. It's the playoffs.
Fellas, here's the thing. I'm old school. Don't forget the ice bowl. Nobody flinched back in the day for the ice bowls. Minus 27 degrees. Half of them didn't even have shoes back then. Were the shoes even invented? Now seriously, they played it without hesitation. They played. Remember the Fog Bowl? Was that the Chiefs? No, the Eagles and the Bears, where literally you couldn't see the goalpost from end zone to end zone. But they played. I mean, they've always played.
Hey, did you see? I think it was Ken Anderson's post. I don't know where it was, Twitter or whatever. He goes, -8. This isn't cold. Whenever he played for the Bengals, he was it -40?
But honestly, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck. Why are we even addressing this? Let's not forget they changed the rules of overtime because Josh Allen didn't get a turn. Are you grasping that? A grown man didn't get a turn. Oh, we got to change the whole rules of this now. When he did not get his, so everything is changing nowadays. Everything.
That's when they changed it?
Yeah, remember, because when he didn't get his chance, when the Chiefs went down and scored. They should have asked.
Chops and I agree with you. It is football, and it should have been played on Sunday. You figure out a way to make it happen. Happen later in the day. Whatever you want to do. I
think the Steelers didn't travel till Sunday. Now that I think about it,
yeah,
they traveled Sunday.
That's right.
Yeah, they couldn't travel.
Why are you getting in the day? I don't know, man.
Okay, well, hey, they can't do it in Buffalo. Didn't they talk about having it in Cleveland or somewhere else, or I don't know? Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they go there? The governor
who talked smack on the Steelers and told Pittsburgh fans not to go up there was like, hey, we don't want you traveling in this treacherous weather, especially since you're not going to win, basically is what she said, which was pretty crazy to me. But, for me, I think they play in all kinds of weather. That's part of football. That's part of football. It's not baseball. The only thing I could see them stopping it for, which they did in games during the season, is lightning.
Oh, yeah, lightning. Oh,
well, supposedly when they build that new stadium, I don't know if you guys heard that, they're going to have a canopy of some sort. It's going to cover 60 to 70% of the field, and they're copying that off of the field that they played in Tottenham, and they're going to take care of that situation.
Would you guys like for all stadiums to go indoors?
No.
Okay.
No, absolutely not. Okay. The weather's part of the element.
I hate that Minnesota did it. I hate that Minnesota went indoors.
So, hey, officiating is supposed to be neutral, keep games fair, based on infractions. Why are so many, and I'm talking in general, guys. I'm talking in general. why are so many sports today so clearly impacted by calls?
Because if they don't get it right, they can just review it. Everything's reviewed now.
But they're still not getting it right.
You still get it wrong.
There's still a lot, the human element, but everything's reviewable. I was watching NCAA basketball, review it. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing in NCAA. Basketball.
My thing is, I loved it when they brought in review because they said, we understand humans will make mistakes, but since there's so much money on these games, we need to get this right. But when we're watching it, we see that you blew it, you blew the call, you blew it, and you're still not going to fess up to, hey, I'm human, I blew the call, it is what it is, keep moving. I just, that's what's been bugging me about it. That's what's been bugging me.
Mike, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this because I'm not sure what my guy Rasheen's doing. He's deep in thought over here.
The problem is the ones that aren't reviewable, like a roughing the passer, when somebody bumps into Patrick Mahomes, those are the ones that are the game changing ones, and interference is not reviewable. They can't review interference, right? They review the ones that are like turnovers and things like that. They don't review holding. The ones that you see that change the game, offensive holding, they'll call a defensive holding if they don't want somebody to score, or if they want them to score, they'll call a defensive holding where it comes out of nowhere. And it's kind of shady how it goes on. If you pay attention to it. It's
very subjective, man. It's very subjective. A guy will hit a guy in a face mask, wrap his arm around his waist, and they won't throw a flag when he doesn't get to the ball. And people will say, well, he should have got there. He should have fought through it. Come on, man. These are grown-ass men going at it. They're strong, grown-ass men playing a game. I have a problem with it. I have a problem with watching it in the NHL, but here's what the NHL does. They send it to New York, and there are people sitting in the NHL offices in New York watching the games. They do the review there. There is no official that goes over and gets a little camera in front of his face. They send it to New York so they can break it down thoroughly and give you the right call. And it's very rare in the NHL that they miss anything. Very rare. But, hey, last spontaneous reaction. The trend in the NFL, guys, and I know you know this trend, it's going from defensive head coaches to young offensive head coaches. But why is a retread like Belichick being mentioned in a number of places? Atlanta, Washington. I've heard him in Tennessee.
Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas, definitely Dallas.
That was funny. That's funny you say that because they said, okay, Belichick comes into the interview. Like, you don't know what the hell his resume says. What's he going to say?
I saw one that said Belichick is interviewing Atlanta. Atlanta's not interviewing him.
It was interesting. I heard today that Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator from Dallas, in fact, I just read this. Hey, Hutch, I agree with you 100%, by the way. Dan Quinn is interviewing at like 5 places, like Chargers. Like, there are 5 places listed. Every one of them Zoom.
Hey.
Every one of them is a Zoom interview.
I have a question about that. Do you think some of these guys, some of these teams are using this as leverage, saying, we interviewed Belichick, we interviewed Harbaugh, and that's getting them stock or leverage?
Ooh, fellas, I argue all the time with people on how the Steelers are always tied to bring in a top free agent, or but somehow they never get them. I don't believe the Steelers do that at all. I do not believe, and I'll start pointing out to you guys next time it happens. Well, the Steelers were in line to get, but he didn't get them. The Steelers wanted to make a play for, but they didn't get him. So that very well could be. But real quick, Mark, to your question, why is Belichick getting traction? Again, I'm still an old school cat. Defense travels, defense wins championships. Offense fills stadiums, defense wins championships. I hate Belichick. I hate all things New England. He will always be a New England cat to me. But I got to give him props the way he can take away your defensive star, or your offensive star with his defense. Now, so I believe that's why if all teams believe he can put in their defense or his defense with their players, I think that can be successful anywhere. Even this year, his offense was putrid, terrible, horrible. Yeah. But his defense was nice. His offense was decent, but his offense was terrible. The defense was nice. His defense is always play.
That's a great point. Great point.
It was a good
That's any
defense. I'll
sport.
give you that. But if you can't put some points on the board, it's an offensive league today.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
28 points is almost abysmal. If
He's the greatest coach of all time. Why wouldn't you want him? Why wouldn't he gain traction? He has something to share and something to do.
You know
right?
why? Here's what I think. Noobs, back me on this. Rasheen, see if you'll back me on this. He has proven the last few years that without Tom Brady, he's just whatever. He has proven without Tom Brady.
He's got mac and cheese. What's he going to do?
I think he needs to be with a good personnel guy. I think he does too much. He's overextended with his role, and him as a talent evaluator is questionable. I think him as a coach is great, but the guys he's drafted are very questionable.
Fellas, here's my thing. I understand Tom Brady went to Tampa and won a championship. It helped that you had the number 1 rated offense. It helped that you had the number 1 rated defense. But also, let's not forget, Brady struggled in Tampa Bay for the first 6 weeks until Arians put in the New England offense, where it was nothing but crossing routes. Now, again, defenses couldn't stop it, but that's what helped him. And it's kind of crazy because Brady is considered the greatest quarterback of all times. And again, not by me, and I get in arguments with everybody on this. He's considered the greatest football player of all times, the greatest QB, because he has the most championships.
Okay.
But we don't do that in any other sport. We don't do that in any other sport. And if I ask you who's the best pure passer, the best arm, the best scrambler, you're never going to pick Brady in any one of those. The reason it gives him, they say, the best quarterback of all time is because he has rings. You don't do that in any other sport. I don't get that. That I don't get, because we don't do that in any other sport. I just don't get it. That I don't understand that. And let's not forget, in his 18, 19 years in New England, Brady had a top 10 defense 10 of those years. He did not have a top 10 defense when they lost to Philly. And would they put up almost 40 and still lost? Because his defense wasn't there.
Rings are the things. Rings are the things. That's going to speak volumes over someone who can run like Lamar.
But only in football.
But he's not going to – I mean, if you don't got the rings, he's not going to
look here.
Conversation.
If I tell you Wilt Chamberlain's the greatest basketball player of all time, nobody's going to go with that. Maybe some old school cats. If I tell you the greatest hockey player of all time, Gretzky didn't have the most rings, but you're going Gretzky. You know what I mean? That's just what I don't get, why we do that at the quarterback position in football. And the crazy part about it is that is the one position to where I like Marino. Marino's never made a tackle. Brady's never made a tackle. But yet, if their team loses, the quarterback gets a lot of flack. But when I don't know, man. I just don't understand how and who started that. Who started that rings and championship make you the best?
And that's why I hate it's this quarterback versus this quarterback. The quarterbacks aren't playing each other. They're playing.
I hate Terry. You have
no
team. I hate when they say that.
Mahomes versus Allen. It's not Mahomes.
Brady always had a really good offensive line too, to be honest with you. He always had really good guys. Hey, let's move into the Super Wild Card weekend, y'all. I went by game. Game one, it came up was Browns and Texans.
Wow.
I thoroughly was pleased watching that game. Schmitty thinks Montana is the GOAT. That's what he thinks.
I like it, Schmitty.
Right? Or do you have 2?
Hey,
4.
They're both.
Then he have 2 and Young has 2?
Yeah. Or do they have 5 Super Bowls, don't they? San Francisco has 5 Super Bowls, so Montana might have 3 and Young has 2. But
they're both I'll take it.
I'm with you, Schmitty.
Mike, what did you see in that Texans game
Montana
against the Browns that defined them? Because, every one of you guys picked the Browns, and I was the only one who took the Texans. Only one.
You're rubbing it in. I tell you what, man, that young defense was getting it done for the Texans. They played well. They have a nice crew.
Young defense and the young offense and the young coaches. Everything was about the youngs.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about my family, but they just kicked their ass.
One young Terry.
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what, the Stroud kid, I said this how many times, he will be the best Ohio State quarterback that we see in our generations.
Mark, thank you.
What? How can you dispute that?
Art Sleetzer.
Here's the thing.
I'll bet you not.
Let me ask something. And Mark and Coach Noob, you guys deal with the younger generation, the younger cats in football and in sports. If you're a quarterback and you have aspirations to go to the league, do you want to go to Alabama? Do you want to go to Ohio State? Because just pedigree, those two schools, they win chips. They win chips in college, but their quarterbacks don't do well in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you think about it, go down the list. Before Mac Jones, and he's had iffy.
Mac Jones.
It was who? Stabler.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Broadway
Because
too.
I'll tell you why you would. Because of the receivers. You get the receivers at OSU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
but
I'm going to throw to them. Hell yeah, I'm going there. It's going to make me look good because they are good, right?
But think about it. Every quarterback at Ohio State is doing well, and you can name a slew of them. But once they take that last snap, their final year, and they'll get their shot in the league, but they're not panning out. And I can't even put it on Ohio State. Maybe they're not hiring the right quarterback coach once they graduate. I don't know, but I've thought about that for years. Think about even Texas Tech. Before Mahomes, Texas Tech always had gunslingers in college. They just weren't hitting much in the league. You know what I mean? I think about things like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Man. But you know why I picked the Browns? I thought old Joey Bag of Donuts, old Joey Flacco, January Joe, I thought he was going to do something. I thought the moment was going to be too big for D'Amico and your boy Stroud. I mean,
And it wasn't. That's so
Not
hard.
at all.
Rolling.
They're fun to watch.
Hey,
Stroud's as cool as the other side of the pillow, my man.
Man.
He's a 22-year-old kid. He's just bring it. You know, he just sits there and takes what comes at him. And the offensive calls, the defensive awareness, but what they did to shut the Browns down, which the Browns, Smitty, I know Flacco was your boy, but the Browns didn't impress me. The Browns defensively were very good, but the defensive player of the year, according to PFF, was none other than the great Myles Garrett. You know what Myles Garrett had in that game? A great big giant zero for everything.
Yeah.
So, you could go ahead and you can size him up all you want. I don't care. He ain't teaching.
Oh, God.
But that's what I like about sports on the aspect that you never know. There's guys, it happens in every sport. A guy shines the entire year or whatever. And in the big game, I mean, he just can't get it done. Can't get the JOBDONE.
Like that guy from the Cowboys?
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're coming up on real soon talking about that. Cost me a friendship because they just couldn't take the fact the Cowboys overrated.
I don't think
Not trying to be funny. Not seriously, not trying to be funny. Every year, I know I do. Every year I watch. You know what I mean? It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I know how it's going to end, but I still watch it with great anticipation. We know how the Cowboys are going to end. We know it. Why? It doesn't matter what they do week 1 through 17, because come the playoffs, Garbinos. At home too. Did you see your boy Jerry Jones when they were going to him? He was hot as a $2 pistol. You talk about mad? Woo! He was good and hot.
Still on his payroll right now.
Woo! Somebody
81 years old. Whew, I know I
Man.
do a lot more with my money than coaching that team or running that team. Get out while it's good.
Miami at the Chiefs, man. The Chiefs finally played football like they know how to play football. Hey, did you see the beautiful coat that Taylor came in with? She had it special made, and the lady who special made it, she is absolutely smoking hot, and her husband is like sizing her up now. He wants to get some cash.
Yeah.
He wants to get cash rolling.
The American dream. But here's the thing.
Creeps.
Honestly, they still had some drops, which the Chiefs had been doing. They still had some drops. However, the Dolphins are and below 40 degrees. Don't forget it was Tampa Bay for years and years. And then they finally broke through and had a playoff when under 40 degrees.
Yeah.
But under the 40 degrees, the Dolphins, they're terrible. That's why it is so important for home field advantage in Buffalo and in everywhere loves it, of course. But everybody loves home field advantage. But when you talk about Kansas City and or Buffalo, that's it.
Hey, they were putting up Steeler-like numbers, 40 points in the last 12 quarters. What happened to that high-powered offense?
Went by the wayside with all those injuries.
The injuries and the weather.
Yeah, the injuries happen, Hey, let's go ahead. Let's get into the Pittsburgh-Buffalo game, man. I'm going to go way back to the initial question dropped on me by a Buffalo Bill fan that said, let's talk about, them running, Allen running on the Steelers. Anybody want to take that question?
So can I talk about that really quick?
Yeah.
So the fake slide is bullshit. So now this is interesting because there were no Pittsburgh people complaining in 2021 when Kenny Pickett fake slides against Wake Forest. Everyone was all excited about that.
Yeah, but we dominated Wake. Let's move on.
But that was bullshit. So anyway, no one from Pittsburgh complained about that. But the NCAA did the right thing. They actually made it illegal to fake slide. The NFL has not followed suit. They have not done it, but I bet they do it in this offseason. I bet they address this issue.
I honestly, Coach Noobs, I find it hard to believe if the NFL will do anything that takes away from offense. They're now guys like us, true football fans who like cracking at the pads, who like football, we are fossils. They are now going to nothing but offense. They like the high. I don't think they're going to do anything to slow down the offense. I really don't. But here's my thing. Get mad at me because I've already went at head-to-head with some Steeler fans. If you noticed Minka's effort or lack of effort on that play, even if I don't care that you fake slid. If Minka would have done what he's supposed to do and showed a little bit of effort, for the love of
Any other time he's laying that guy out. Any other time, what's he doing?
Man, but there was a couple plays I was saying. Minka's effort was lackluster in a couple plays, fella, quite a few.
Oh, Sizzle. Minka don't lay anyone out. Let's get that straight.
Yes, he did.
We need to quit with this. Like people are.
He's a ball hawk. He ain't Donnie Shell, but he's a ball hawk.
He hits people. You saying he don't hit anyone?
Do you think the reason these guys don't hit like they used to is because
not the way he started out in Miami. Not the way he started out in Miami.
Who did he hit, Sizzle? Go ahead. Give me one hit. I can give you about 10 Ryan Clarks. Wes Welker, Willis McGahee. He put McGahee in fetal position. McGahee. Who else?
But those days are gone. I'd love to see even a clean, nice hit by somebody.
He said he hit somebody. Listen.
And now
I said they're flagging you.
Missing tackles.
Noobs, I left that one up there for you. You want to address that?
Yeah, Smitty, we might have some problems here, buddy. You keep insulting my alma mater. We might have some issues.
Man,
I'll see you in person, big guy.
Don't make him take the rag off.
No, I don't want to say that was a difference maker. To me, the difference maker in that game was the one that the interception that Mason threw in the end zone.
Yes.
That was a different, and that was a really good play by that guy, but it was a really piss poor throw too, where he threw it. Deontay did not even attempt to come back for it. I don't know what the play call was. I don't know if it was a fade or a back shoulder. I don't know what it was, but that was the difference maker for me. That and the fact that, they did get pressure on Allen, but you brought Peterson off the edge that one play. What's Allen do? He escapes him.
Yeah.
Put your helmet in his freaking chest and lay him out.
Hey, walk away from the griff. Thanks for chiming in here, Lou. Lou says, if you hit him, you get a flag. And so is that why people are pulling up, stopping short, Mr. Costanza?
Yes. Hey,
at least grab him first. Grab him first before you say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree, Chops. You got to at least get hands on him.
Yeah, but I get where they're coming from. But you don't want to hit him. First off, noobs, Mark, you got to break down. When you got to break down a little bit. They're coming in running full speed, trying to get on ESPN and for the hit, and he just blew it, man. He just blew. Peterson had a rough game though. I mean, he's the second team, and he had to be thrown in to start. It was rough, man. Just shoot.
Hey, I'm curious to see if they keep him and bump him back to safety, let him play some safety, or if they cut him loose because he's got another year on that contract in Pittsburgh.
Mark,
as far as the Bills go,
hey, Mark,
as far as
two things real quick. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say.
I wanted to address the passing thing. Go ahead.
I was just going to say about how he used all his weapons on the field. He used both his tight ends for his first 2 touchdowns, and they were both wide open down the middle of the field. You got defensive backs looking at each other like, what the hell are we supposed to do there? So that's my point of contention, and we'll get to that when we get to Tomlin's continuation. But, and the other piece was, if you're going to run the football like a running back, you should get hit like a running back. I don't care if you're Lamar Jackson. I don't care if you're Josh Allen. I don't care who you are. If you're putting the ball, you're tucking it away on a designed run, your ass deserves to get drilled just like every running back.
Again, Mark, Noobs, there used to be a time when the quarterback brought the ball down and ran. If you were on defense, you couldn't wait to get to him because you knew that was the one time you got. Nobody gave the effort to try to stick him last night. Nobody tried to put that shoulder pad to him. Not on that run. That was, to me, I could even not trying to be funny. Even when your boy, was it Alex, who had the sack when they just grabbed him, and as soon as they grabbed him, they did stop. They didn't wait for the ref to blow the whistle. They didn't even try to take him down. Somebody, was it Smith, Highsmith? Somebody had a sack last night on your boy Allen, and as soon as they grabbed him, they just stopped.
Oh, it was
you know who I'm talking about, though.
Golden. It was Marcus
Golden.
Okay. And I'm like, what are you doing? I understand. You don't have to slam him like, oh, boy, Hollywood slammed Bradshaw back in the day. I get that. But you at least take him to the ground. Do something, man.
Well, Smitty's right here that Miles Jack got that penalty. But, again, if you're going to run the football like a running back, then you should get hit like a running back.
Now, Smitty, I'm feeling you. But also remember, even when the announcers were talking last night, there's plays when they ran that in slow motion, Jack didn't hit him as hard as I thought he did.
Nope, he pulled up.
Exactly. And Noobs, that's where you were talking about there's certain things that you can't challenge because it's just a preference call. And if they could have challenged that, whoa, he didn't even hit him like we thought. His hands were near his, but
was that the same series that Porter Jr. got his concussion?
That was terrible.
That was earlier.
On that.
That was earlier.
That same series, that same drive.
That was the third quarter. He got hit in the third quarter. He got hit in the back of the head. They were going the other way.
The end. Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
And you know what? Did you notice how who's he on? Jack Bucket and not Troy Aikman. Who was Tony Romo?
Romo.
Yeah. Did you notice how they kind of skipped through that? They didn't even address it.
Exactly.
They didn't even go.
They acted like it just didn't happen. Yeah. Well, the other piece was, guys, there was a pass thrown that was clearly thrown way over. I think it was one of the tight ends' heads. Thrown way over his head.
Out of bounds.
They had called pass interference. But because it was thrown so far over his head, they decided to change what the penalty was and call him for holding. Hey, shit or get off the pot. You either call pass interference or you call holding. One of the two. You don't adjust it because a pass is thrown over somebody's head. Make your decision right out of the gate. That was bullshit.
Noobs talked about it earlier, about how like some of the things refs can do and how it's iffy the plays they call and what they don't call. I don't know how many of you saw the documentary. I can't think of the name of it right now. The documentary, but it's like 8 or 9 different videos and on different sports. And they did the documentary on Tom Donahue, the NBA referee, and how he got suspended for cheating, whatever have you. But if you watch the documentary, in there, the NBA graded him out that season at a 90. They said, you're doing everything perfect. Where he got mad was where he told people that he was calling plays that he wouldn't normally call. So when you're thinking about it, he just showed you, number one, the refs can do and call when they want and don't call. And that what ticks me off about that is technically the NBA and different leagues grade out officials. Okay, you're fine. You're great. Now Donahue is banned. Well, if you thought he was doing the right thing then, but I'm going back to what you said, Noobs. It is. You never have any idea what the refs call, what the refs are doing. Because again, fellas, even the best of men are only men at best. You don't know. Does he got something riding on this? Is he? You never know. And I'm being dead honest with that. You never know. You never know.
Let's move on. Let's go Packers and Cowboys. That, my friends, as I sat there and watched this, that was a complete annihilation of the Cowboys. It wasn't even funny.
The score, it wasn't as close as the score.
It was like every time Jordan Love touched the ball, he was just marching down the field. He had very few mistakes. He found open receivers all over the place. And Dak, like you said, Mikey, it's like watching the Great Pumpkin every year. You knew it was going to happen at the end. Inevitably, we saw it happen.
Now, here's my thing. I understand. You may not make the perfect pass. I don't care if you're throwing to your son in the backyard. Every pass won't be perfect. I get that. But what I was shocked on was the defense not tackling, missing tackles, just not being that shocked me. Because the Dallas defense, all I need you to do is put your helmet on him, put your helmet in his chest. I was shocked how they were missing tackles. Now, of course, your boys' pick six didn't help, but I was shocked at Dallas's D. I really was. I was shocked.
Is that part of the script, Noobs? Noobs.
Yeah.
Is that part of the script? Dallas go down first round?
I don't see how it would help the league. I think the league would want Dallas to be successful with all those bandwagon fans they have.
You know what? I mean, of course, they were behind by 32 points or whatever, but that's a hell of a lot of throws. 41 to 60 for Dak, whereas Jordan Love only had 21 passes, a third of the attempts. And again, of course, they're down that many points. You got to throw, but that's a lot of challenge.
Did you guys see the close-ups of Dak? Like his face, he looked like scared. Like the moment was too big for him. He looked like nervous. Like he was.
I thought he was saying, "Are you kidding me, Jack? Again? We were prepared." Here, fellas, you guys called it with the Eagles. I really thought the Eagles were going to be able to turn around and at least get a playoff win in the Wild. I really did.
Yeah.
But Cowboys went into the playoffs rolling. They went into the playoffs looking good. So I thought Dak was like, because the last thing Dak would be afraid of is the situation he was in. He's been there so many times.
Right.
You get in the playoffs and you lose. I thought he was like, are you kidding me? I've got to be dreaming. I just can't.
Hey, how many playoff games did Tony Romo win?
Duh.
None.
Nah.
Hey,
No.
well, look it up.
He won a few.
Do you see? You're talking about looking at Dak Prescott on the sidelines after his series. Do you see Jalen Hurts? He's the flattest affect every time they show him.
What? Dallas Goedert was like cussing him out on the sidelines. What was up with that?
Yeah, did you see? And he didn't even bat an eyelash. They want someone he doesn't look like he's leader material. And again, this is fan from the TV's perspective, right? But you never see him. He's non-emotional. He doesn't get into it. And they need someone who's going to spark a little something in them.
Tony Romo, 2 playoff wins, 2 for 4.
Yeah.
2 playoff wins.
0-3 in the divisional playoff.
Is that 2 more than Dak?
Yeah.
No, I think Dak has 1. Didn't he get 1?
1-3.
He's 1-3. Yeah. So in Dallas, they've won 3 playoff games in how many years now?
I'm sorry, he's 2-5. He's 2-5.
I mean, I saw a list today. I saw another amazing list today that had all the head coaches that won a playoff game since 2017. It had 20 guys listed. Do you know where Mike Tomlin was listed in there?
Last.
He wasn't. He hasn't won a game.
He hasn't won since 2016.
Oh, 17? Right. Okay. One year.
So, there's something going on with those organizations. And the only thing I'll say is the ownership of one organization cares a hell of a lot and tries to do the right things. The other one is just so nonchalant about the way things transpire. I'm not sure, why he even has the owner. I'm not sure why he even sits in there.
Do we care about the playoffs because we have a 500 record in the last 17 years?
Yeah.
Playoffs don't matter, do they? It's
Because again,
500 record.
Average fan is changing. This football is not for us. There used to be a saying, the standard is the standard. Pittsburgh, the Steelers were about winning chips. That's not, like you said, I'd love to see how many 45-year-old guys and older. Let's go down to 40. How many 40-year-olds and higher are you that are saying you got to keep him? He hasn't had a losing record. No, it's not about how much you don't lose. How much do you win?
Yeah.
How much? You know what I'm saying?
I got into this,
Mikey,
the Commanders fans.
We're walking down the chip aisle. What are you picking out?
Wait, say that one more time.
We're at Wegmans. You're walking down the chip aisle. Which bag you grabbing?
Oh man, I don't even know.
The Steeler mix.
Oh,
In
I haven't had it. We don't get it. What is it?
the plastic Tupperware thing.
Oh man, like gee,
You got
man.
the pretzels and the cheese curls and the nacho.
We're at Wegmans. We're walking down the chip aisle. What's your chip of choice?
There's one I just saw. I think it's Utz, has like a sweet and spicy.
Oh yeah.
Rasheen, what's yours?
Oh shoot! I just had it in New Orleans. Voodoo. Voodoo.
Oh, I've had those.
Yeah.
I've had those at Monocacy. Something to look forward to when we do the show out there.
Yeah.
Sizzle, chip of choice.
I told you it's the Steeler mix. It's got the combination. It's got the pretzels, the cheese curls, the nacho chips. It's the cement bucket of chips. You just throw anything you want in there, you're good to go.
And here's what I say. I don't know. I have two that are my go-to: Ruffles, sour cream and cheddar, or Cape Cod salt and vinegar. I mean, eat some of them damn salt and vinegar, your mouth start burning in here. Yeah, but man.
Yeah, your mouth's like a douche. It's crazy.
Hey, how about this cat, Smitty? He's Snyder's of Berlin.
My pops
Nice.
eat them jokers.
That's right up the street, baby. That's
Those are
right up.
pretty
You guys remember the Meadowsworth?
I
They
just
came in a
found-
bucket. The Meadowsworth chips, they came in a bucket.
I just found my my go-to snack. It's smart popcorn or whatever, but it's Dorito flavored.
Ooh.
Ew.
Your
You might
go-to
be onto
snack's
something there.
Fireball. What are
Bang
you
it.
talking about?
I
Bang
haven't
it.
had it. I haven't had it.
I'll tell you what. Hey, let me get us back on track here. This game was a hell of a game. I watched quite a bit of this. The Rams at the Lions. I
yeah.
thought that was a hell of a game.
Best one of the weekend.
Huh?
The best one of the weekend, I thought.
Yeah. 1 point differential, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think you mean closest or most competitive of the weekend. Was it best?
In my regard, I think the most competitive.
You know what, fellas? I know I clowned Dan Campbell at his press conference when he was hired as the Lions coach. I'm liking Dan Campbell, and his guys play for him. I'm liking Dan Campbell. I really do. And I'm so glad Goff got the win over Stafford.
What about
So
Cole?
glad.
Really?
You don't like Stafford?
No, and here's why. Check Stafford. Even when Stafford won the Super Bowl, do you realize he led the league in interceptions? Stafford is the same quarterback in LA as he was in Detroit. He just has a better supporting cast. Goff is putting up the basic. They're both doing the same things numbers-wise as they did at their other teams. Just Goff now doesn't have the supporting cast, or should I say, your boy has a better supporting cast, which got him the Super Bowl. Think about it. Go check the stats. Stafford is the same dude. He's the same dude. If nothing, he's not changing. Same dude all the way around. Peep his stats.
Hey, Little Hutch, take care of him, man. Good having you on the show. Thanks for joining us.
What up, Buck? What up,
Which one is
cousin?
that? Hey, which one is that, guys? Is that what's your name's brother?
No, that's my cousin.
Okay.
This is Lou Hutch.
Lou.
Oh,
Yeah.
Young Lou. He was friends with Daisha.
He knows that. Oh, I don't know Daisha.
Yeah, you do. Daisha Clayton.
Oh.
We'll leave it at that.
Hey,
We'll do it later.
These guys will not let me live this down.
I'll tell you what, you guys convinced me
he
when
said something.
Gibbs was drafted that he was going to be a stud, and he is a stud.
Who's that, Mark?
Who?
Gibbs, Jameer Gibbs,
Oh,
Oh,
he is a stud. I
he's
agree.
fast.
He is fast. I think they're one. I think they're a number 2 away at receiver from being just so powerful. I mean, I don't like nobody really jumps off the page at me as the second guy. If Brown is doubled, who's the second guy? Laporta. Yeah, unquestionably Laporta. But if you take him,
I
off
see what
the
you're
field,
saying.
'cause he's the tight end.
Yeah.
Who's the second guy? Who's the number 2 receiver?
Well,
for them?
Josh Reynolds had 85
Hey.
catches for 80, but
Let's
I see what
see,
you're saying.
let's see if they can bring in T. Higgins.
Ooh.
Higgins. Say it
Hey.
right.
Bringing him
please.
in.
Hey, the,
What'd you say, Mark?
Who's bringing him in?
I said
Detroit.
let's see if the Lions can bring in T. Higgins.
the
That
best.
would be a
Very
good
Antonio
pickup for them.
Brown.
I don't know what their money looks like. They have to have a lot of rookie contracts. Aiden Hutchinson, all those guys are on rookie contracts. Laporta, Gibbs, those are rookie contracts.
I'm sure there's not a lot of money out there. Who you think is getting big money in Detroit?
Sewell's going to be getting paid shortly.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying right now, Who has a big contract in Detroit? Just think. Who they get? What's up?
Dude, there's a blast from the past for you.
Ashton Foster. What's up, Ashton?
He's an IUP. He's a Northwest grad who went to IUP. Shout out to that.
Go Indians.
Are you with IUP?
Yeah, he's an IUP
Go
guy.
Indians. When they were Indians or what?
He's more of a lacrosse dude, guys. I know he loves football. He played at Northwest. Noobs, he played for you? No, you were cute.
No, he was before. Yeah.
Yep. Interesting.
Well,
Hey,
golf is going to make $33.5 million next year or this year or whatever. Yeah. So.
Damn.
well, I heard the cap's going up something ridiculous, like 20 million, 22, some crazy number. Like the cap is going astronomical again next year. And
Is St. Brown still on a rookie contract?
Who?
Mom, St. Brown.
Brown is still next year is
Brown.
his third year, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he'll have
USC.
next year, which they'll declare him for his 5th year. So he'll have 2 years after that.
What a draft. That was an awesome draft pick. They got him in the second or third round.
I'll tell you what. Then, they got Hendon Hooker sitting on the bench. And I don't know, I don't know what it is with Hendon Hooker, but no, I don't.
I'll tell you what, the best content of the weekend was watching Detroit fans like crying in the stands because they were won. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, they had the longest playoff streak with 9 losses. Haven't won since what? Not the 90s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So good for them. But I didn't realize how tough Stafford was. You guys someone was hating on. I thought, he had a banged up hand, he's bleeding. I thought it was like Kurt Schilling. His sock was going to be turning red pretty soon, and it's going to have like the best comeback. He was just mentally and physically tough. I didn't realize all he's gotten them. I think he's a great quarterback.
I didn't realize he was 35, 34, 35.
I put him in the top 10 right now.
Yeah.
He looked like he was unconscious
In the league or of all time? Top
Right
10.
now.
In the
Shout out to Flo from TBL Sports. What's going on, Flo? Flo knows.
All
right, last game of the week. Last night. Wait, what day is this? Tuesday? Yeah, the Eagles and Bucks. I think Baker Mayfield found a home, guys.
Guys, I have a question real quick before we go to that. Just a quick one on the Rams. Did you guys see the hit on Tyler Higbee?
Yes.
The safety. So what's your take on that? Is that a dirty hit, or like the league really doesn't allow you to do too much? What are your thoughts, Rasheed?
So you know me, man. If you sign up to play, I don't care how you get hit. I don't care. If you don't want to play, don't sign up. When the draft comes and they say, hey, we draft Chops. Chops can say, no, I'm scared, or yes, I want the money.
I got you.
From my perspective, if you're going to make calls, you got to make them across the board, and that's part of the problem. If another set of officials wouldn't make that call, but a set of officials make that call, it doesn't matter what we think of the hit. What matters is how they're going to interpret that hit. And that goes back to my spontaneous reaction question. Like, that's where I am so disconnected with officiating in sports.
It's not illegal.
There's no level of consistency. Be consistent, bitches.
Oh, bless you. And that was cold.
Did we lose Chops? Chops, you out there?
Chops, your mic.
Your mic, man. Your mic.
Oh, you got me. You got my bad. Hey,
good.
there was a guy in the outside with his revving his engine, being cool. So I didn't want you guys to hear that. You referring to the hit on when he's cutting across the middle, on the hit on the knee in the low.
Yeah.
The low.
Yep.
Okay. You have to hit low now because they're calling too much for roughing. You know what I'm saying? On personal fouls, and there have been a lot of players that have come out and said, "I'd rather you hit me high than low because if you turn me rip a knee." There have been players that have said that they'd rather. I mean, what do you do as a defensive guy?
They hit him in the middle.
But I mean, I'm saying the problem with that, Chops, is this: hitting someone high and low. The problem is like new guys are playing tight end coming across the middle. I hit him high. I'm losing that, and he's still running.
Yeah. But I feel you. But also, fellas, let's not forget athletes bigger, faster, stronger, and they literally have an instant to think about what they're going to do. You know what I mean? And it just to me,
the defender does what he's supposed to do, but then the offensive player, he's lower.
Yeah.
And then they call it on defense. Yep.
And it's funny because they call it like a hit on a defensive player. sometimes he may be defenseless, but a lot of times you'll see the receiver duck his head at the line. That means you're not defenseless.
That's
you
right.
know what
Right.
you know what I mean? And let's not forget, when our boy Kazazi, however you pronounce his name, got suspended for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit old boy, but you do realize that was a terrible pass by Gardner Minshew. That was a terrible pass. He laid his boy out.
And most of the guys said it too.
Yeah, yeah,
Brady came out and spoke against that.
yeah.
You know, you don't have to like Brady, but he came out and spoke against that, and he said Minshew put him in a bad position.
Yeah, he did. He's spoken out about a couple things so far this year in the NFL.
I mean,
Hey,
hey, what's up, Billman? Yeah, you're right. Tight ends, DBs, you got to make a decision. Guys are freaking big running at tight end. Can you imagine if Darnell Washington from Pittsburgh was going against the DB that's 5'10", and he was a legit tight end?
Against Sauce Gardner, I mean, he's taller, but he's small. So thin-wise, I mean, thin.
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner's thin.
We'll see if he's a tight end next year. They might be bulking him up to play tackle the way he plays.
Oh, Mark, you just said something there. That means we wouldn't have to draft a tackle.
I don't know. Do you think he's ready for
You know
that?
about Washington putting Washington at tackle?
I see him getting blown up.
It's happened before.
I don't know
You're
about
talking
being a tackle.
Fellas, let me tell you
I
something.
feel you, Chops. I'm not liking that move. I just see he's too soft on some
Okay,
plays.
you don't want him, fellas. There used to be a thing we used to call a bookend tackle. We got bookend tackles, right? No. Do you want to be the quarterback if Washington is your tackle? Oh, absolutely not. Oh, absolutely not. Every down is fourth down. Every time we get the ball, just punt. If Washington is tackle, you're going against some of the best edge rushers every game.
Yeah.
You're gonna
And
put,
you don't even. So
I'm not putting him on the left side. I'm putting him on the right.
He can't get any better.
It's not. But if he wants, I understand you're a
I got
decent.
him all worked up here. Look.
I understand. I understand you're a decent blocker. I understand you block decent when you're helping, you're chipping, you're doing this. But I got you on an island as a tackle. A tackle.
Hey, let's move on because Chop's about to hurt somebody. Let's move on.
I'm more concerned with getting him oxygen.
he's going to go outside and beat that guy up revving his engine.
Hey, before we move
What'd
on,
you do that for? Because you're
I
here.
don't want to talk anymore
But
about
you're
the
here?
Bucs. I want to talk about I do want to talk about the Eagles, though, guys. I just saw their list today of free agents, and I was on an Eagles page or some shit, and really they've got a shit ton of guys. Anybody from Fletcher Cox to Swift,
Now Kelsey.
and well, he's retiring, but.
Yep.
At the end of the day, all these guys are saying, all these Eagles fans are like, just keep Swift. You can let everybody else walk. Do they understand the impact of that? Like that? I don't know. I don't know if you do that. I don't know if you hang that on their coach either. Is that their coach's fault? We watched Pittsburgh fall apart like that a few years ago. There was no fallout, but that's a difference in ownership too. But I mean, what happened to the Eagles? What happened? I know we said Hurts shows absolutely no emotion. I know we've talked about AJ being a complete asshole. We've heard that a million times. Okay. But isn't there somebody in that locker room who's going to step up and grab AJ and put him against the wall and say, you either get on board or get the fuck out of here? That's my question.
I don't think that happens anymore.
No.
Fellas, okay, here's the thing. And I'm going to just keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck. And I say to time, this is these guys' jobs. Once they leave campus, once they leave the facility, they got wives, children, baby mom, whatever they got to deal with, right? But they're also grown men. I just find it hard to believe. I don't care who you are, because we've seen now nothing would be able to get out, or excuse me, everything would get out. But I got to believe if someone came and said something to someone else, get your head out of your ass, whatever, there's going to have to be a fight. I don't care who it is. I'm a man of flesh and blood, just like you. I understand you've been on this team longer than I have, and I may be a rookie, whatever have you, but I was a man well before I was playing football. I just find it hard to believe that, number one, any of these players now, before I used to believe there was fights in the locker room and guys were checking each other. I believe that. I truly believe that. I don't think anybody does it now. I don't think they do. I don't.
They don't want to contest that. Yeah.
They do it on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It was interesting. The Eagles were 1-6 going into this game. the last 6 or something like that.
So
In the Bucks were 5-6, won the last 5 going into, and the Eagles. What's wrong with them? I think it's their defense and their everything was just a debacle there. They only won 2 games by double digits. All the other games that they won, the other 9 were by single digits. So there's offense.
Can you think of a team that went from sugar to shit faster? Seriously. I mean, 10-1, and they just fell off a cliff.
But I think what people sleep on is they lost both their coordinators in the offseason. That's such a big deal. I don't think they replaced them with the same quality that they had. Those guys were legit.
And I would ride with you on that if we're 6 weeks into the season and they're 3-3. They're 2-4 because they were in the Super Bowl last year. But you're 11, 12 weeks in and you're 10-1. So to me, how did you just fall apart?
Because the NFL, once you get the blueprint on how to beat somebody, then they all copy it, and it's a done deal. You're screwed.
What happened to the zone read play?
3 weeks. How
powerful that was?
What?
Yeah. The zone read. We were drafting quarterbacks that could run like Kaepernick years ago, and we'd run the zone read with those guys. All of a sudden, they figured it out. We do this, we do this, we do this. We take away the slant by doing this, change the dynamic again.
And I think those 10 wins, though, they barely were winning. Like, they barely beat the Commanders twice.
That's what I said.
Barely. Last second.
That's true.
9 of their 11 wins were by single digits. Small margin. They're the Vikings. They're the Minnesota Vikings of last year. Remember they were winning all those games? Gunslinger. They were just chucking the ball, throw it up there, and they were winning by single digits.
So do you fire, what's his name, Sirianni?
Sirianni.
Fire him?
No. I have a hard time with that.
I would. Noobs won't.
Why would 1 year? Last year he takes you to the Super Bowl. This year you at least get to the playoffs.
Hey,
2 years. I mean, 2 years. That's all you're giving them.
They got rid of Doug Peterson 3 years after he won the Super Bowl. They just said, "Peace, you're out."
Yeah. Well, how about this?
They'll pull the carpet right quick.
Listen, McCarthy's 12-5 every year for the last 3 years in Dallas.
Exactly.
But
he's going to get canned.
But Sirianni has to at least buy at least another season. He took him to the Super Bowl last year.
Tomlin's 9-8.
Well, Mike,
7.
Mike, to back you about Hurts, I think it was you that was talking about Hurts. I read all midseason that they were not big on Hurts because of the exact thing you were saying. He's just so docile. He doesn't. He leads by example to a certain degree, but he is not the guy.
I need emotion. I need it. I know it doesn't always mean anything, but if you mess up, I need to see you ticked off. I need him, and he just sat there like a lump on a pickle.
Yeah,
I seriously, I couldn't take it.
They're going to be an interesting team to watch this offseason because they could possibly go from the penthouse to the shit house in terms of their whole season next year. Kelsey's going to be a big replacement at center.
Hey,
that's going to be a big replacement. They're going to have to go out and find a guy in the draft right away. I have come to the solid conclusion that if you don't build your offense around a more than average quarterback and a center that is smart and can play every snap, it's going to be tough. I've watched Mason Cole play for 2 years now in Pittsburgh. I've seen other guys, the Linderbaum, who's a guy that was overlooked. The kid over in
But isn't Philly's O-line? Aren't they pretty experienced?
Yes, they're legit.
They lost Salamalu.
Normally, I understand. Normally, your center is calling the offensive, the blocking assignments. Maybe one of those guards or tackles are going to have to step up and say, "Hey, young man," unless they get somebody. I don't know what their bank is like unless they get somebody in free agency.
Yeah.
Hey,
all right.
Here we go. Real quick.
Last week's picks, man.
Real quick stat. We were talking about missed tackles and just blown assignments on that. About 450 yards in offense, the Eagles gave up to the Bucks. 260 of those yards, rushing and receiving, were yards after a catch. Over 60% of that was yards after.
Nobody takes pride in tackling anymore. Nobody takes pride in tackling.
Crazy.
Well, Chops, in defense of those guys, and we've discussed this before, when you say tackling, do you mean laying them out or just wrapping up or what? Because, you could tackle somebody this week and lose your game check.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
even Minka, when he tried to throw the dude, I just
Oh yeah, that play too. Hey, let me move back to last week's picks, you guys. Schmitty had 2 right. Kansas City and the Lions and the Bucks. He had 3. I'm sorry, he had 3 right. Rasheen, you had the Rams right. No, you didn't. Rasheen didn't have anybody right. He lost every one of those. Every one of them. Noob, you had KC, the Lions, and the Bucks. T-Sizz.
And the
you had
Bills. And the
Lions.
Bills. I picked the Bills too. I had 4.
He did pick the Bills. I remember.
He did.
Okay. I had Steelers, Don. I thought we wanted.
No.
No, I wasn't
Okay.
picking the Steelers.
Okay.
We got on him about
And then T-Sizz, you had the Lions.
Lions.
And then I had Texans, Kansas City. I originally had Green Bay, and I let you guys talk me out of that shit. And I had the Lions. So, Noobs is leading with 4 right now.
Yeah, baby.
Rasheen got a big fat 0. Schmitty got 3. Youngie got 1. Chops wasn't in it last week, and I got 3. So let's do our picks for this week so we can move on to the main segment. And we're going to barrel through the main segment, guys. We're an hour deep already. Can you believe that shit? Hey, Packers and Niners, who you like?
Niners.
I'd
love to see the Packers do it, but I got to go Niners.
If you guys want to win, follow my lead.
Hey, you know the Packers are 6-0 against the Cowboys in playoffs.
No
playoffs.
They've won more playoff games. They've won more playoff games than Dallas has.
Playoffs. Yeah, exactly.
In the last like 30 years.
Exactly.
Listen,
I'm definitely going 49ers. Go across the board.
If you want to make it to the promised land, you follow
Schmitty,
my lead.
you want here?
Follow your what, Sheen?
No, Schmitty. All right. Sizzle, you going Niners?
Uh-huh.
All right. Game 2.
See?
Tampa, Detroit.
Oh.
Detroit. I like Detroit, man. I do. At home.
I like Tampa. Tampa.
I got
Follow
you.
my lead.
I got Chops. I'm going Lions too.
Okay.
Lions.
Sizz with the
I'm
Lions.
going knee biters. I'm going for Lions.
This is the week I catch all of y'all right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
I went 4.
Kansas City at Buffalo. Remember, Kansas City knows how to play in cold weather too, fellas.
I got Buffalo.
I'm listening.
I'm going to go Buffalo. I think Kansas City's drops are going to hurt them again. I do. I'd love to see Kansas City win it, but I'm going to go Buffalo.
Rashee Rice, 130. Whew.
Buffalo.
Sizz.
Let's go with the Bills.
Bills.
Oh, y'all following my lead, I see.
Across the board, I'm taking the Bills too.
Me
Follow
too.
my lead. Y'all follow my lead, I see.
Me too. Hey, I got the Bills.
He's got more inside trading than Martha Stewart.
I got the Bills in the Super Bowl. I just think the league is set up for it. And the last game, Texans at the Ravens.
Man. Ravens, baby. Easily too.
Yeah, give me the Dirty Birds.
I'm gonna give you the spread. You want the spread? 13.
Whoa.
I'm going to go Texans. I know the Ravens are the better team. I know this.
I just gave you the spread.
I'm just going Texans.
Gave you the
Good for
spread.
you. I'm going Ravens. I know, Mark, you said they're going to lose. I'm going Ravens.
I went Texans. I see the same writing on the wall. I don't know. Baker Mayfield is the same quarterback as Mark Sanchez.
And
Foster. Maybe. I don't know. Hey, some award winners so we can get this thing going here. AFC Offensive Player of the Year. Now, I didn't ask for your MVP. I asked for your Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC.
oh, okay.
You want to know mine?
Yeah, who's yours?
Lamar.
LeBar?
Labard. Yeah, Labard.
LaBarge?
Yeah, I got him too.
Okay.
La Jackson.
AFC Offensive Player of the Year, Noobs.
Well, I like Lamar, but just to switch it up, since you guys picked him, I'll go Tua.
What?
Okay.
Just
Sis?
his numbers are nuts. They're impressive.
They are. His
Or
passing
Andre
numbers.
Wears.
Yeah, man's nuts too. I'll go with Tyreek. He's got to throw it to someone.
I like it. Tyreek.
Before his house caught on fire, he was on fire.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm actually going to go with Tyreek too.
I think he
He's
makes
the
the
reason.
biggest. That's a good call.
Yeah.
Can I switch mine? I'm going to switch
He's
mine
the
to
reason.
Tyreek.
How about NFC Offensive Player of the Year? I'm going CMC.
Yes.
Sam Snead.
CMC.
No.
Is this
CMC.
Is this
In the
regular
music-
season or do we include
CMC in the
playoffs?
Music Factory. Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey.
Is this including this past weekend?
Yes,
didn't
because he
play.
didn't
No.
play. He was
No.
resting up.
Just regular season. I'm going
Yep.
Dak.
Dak.
Regular
Chucks?
season.
Regular season.
I'm going CD Lamb.
Nice
Ooh,
one.
good call.
Interesting.
Dak, yeah, I go with Dak. Here, fellas, here's my problem with CMC, and a lot of people are going with him. San Fran was already doing work before he got there. So they did work with Mozart, however you pronounce it, last year. You know what I'm saying? So
Raheem.
they that's my only thing against your boy what's his name? CMC, because they did work last year before he got there.
But they're doing
The
more
other-
work now because they got Purdy.
But the other thing is he only had 1,400 yards. Like, is that really that special?
Oh yeah.
1,400
CMC?
yards?
Look at his overall. He's got over 2,000.
Yeah, 14 Russians. Not
You're
special.
looking at his rush.
That's just rushing.
14
I'm just saying. That's good.
16 to 17 games. Isn't it?
Huh?
17
How about
games.
his, how about
Yeah.
his catches? What's his,
Rashard
what's
Mendenhall
his
had
receiving
70
yards?
He's got like
It's
800
not.
receiving.
If you look historically, 1,400 yards rushing is not that big a deal.
Rashard Mendenhall had
Not
14,
anymore.
y'all.
But they played
Rashard
17.
But he's impactful.
Sis, who
for
you
the team. I
taking?
get it. Go ahead.
McCaffrey.
Okay. Hey, who's the MVP defensively in the league? Rasheed?
Did we say AFC?
I said the league.
The whole
The
league.
league.
Defensive,
defensive.
Defensive
Honestly?
player of the year.
if we're defensive player of the year.
You're
I
saying
thought you were defensive
That's
MVP.
what
The
you said.
MVP of the defense.
MVP or player of the year?
Player of the year on defense.
Okay. Man, I would go with the same person. He isn't Watt leading the league in sack. Who's leading the league in sack?
Leading in
Watt,
everything
19.
except for
TJ Watt.
percentage getting to the quarterback is some freaking stupid stat that PFF came up with so that
Donald.
Miles Garrett.
what's his name? Miles Garrett
Miles Garrett.
could,
yeah.
could
Matt Buquet, Ravens.
okay.
Who?
Defensive tackle, 14 sacks.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Who? Justin
it's killer.
Matabuki?
That's why they are where they are. That defense.
Yeah.
Noobs, who you taking? Defensive
I like
player of the
TJ
year.
Watt. I love TJ Watt, man. Watching him play, he's impressive.
Here's the thing, and I agree with you because if he's not there, what are they 1-11 without him?
1-11.
Yes. Yep.
So,
That is the epitome of MVP.
Exactly.
You can't get
Exactly.
more.
you
that's
can't
it.
replace him. You can't play without him. I mean, he's the MVP.
Can we go over those games that who they play? Because I mean,
No, we don't
Like,
got
we-
time.
I'm not doing that right now.
we go in these circles with TJ Watt, bro. Like, listen,
No, you go in circles with it.
he wouldn't have
You
did.
go in circles with it. We don't go in circles with it.
He got plenty
When
of
he goes on the field every game is different than
Sheen,
what
I'd say this, Sheen. This is the best way I can put it. Even if Watt plays, there's a chance you can still lose. But if he doesn't play, but if he
It's almost a walk
doesn't
if you
play,
lose.
you're not winning. Think about that. Even if he plays, there's a chance you could lose. But if he doesn't play, there's no chance you'll win. That to me is the epitome of MVP. You can't get more valuable than that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man.
If your mom's not home to do the cooking, you'll still eat. It's not going to be as good.
Oh, yeah.
Here we
Hey,
go.
you can go and buy a 6-pack of Pabst Blue Ribbon, or you could go down to Old Mother and buy craft beer.
Or you can go to stats and look at all the games where he had 2 tackles in those games and like no sacks. Like, come on, man.
Hold on. I get
Because he
that.
got 4 guys on him.
Exactly. That's where the back.
Wait. Say that again.
That's where the backs are staying in. That's where tight ends are helping the tackle.
I said because he got 4 guys on him.
Doing what?
Blocking.
Man, you full of shit. Check. Go to YouTube and check his sacks. He got double teamed one time. He got chipped one time. Go to YouTube. He does not get double teamed. He's the best. He's the best ever one-on-one pass rusher.
I addressed your.
You obviously don't watch the Steelers every week.
I addressed your statement when you said he got 2 tackles the whole game. I said
All
that's
he
because
can
he
do-
got double, triple,
He's
quadruple.
the best one-on-one pass rusher ever.
No,
all
that's
he
Lord
can do.
Taylor.
He's good at one-on-one. He can't do nothing else. He doesn't seal the edge. They run at him. They run around him.
I think his numbers say something a little bit different.
What do they
I
say?
think his numbers are very clear on what they are.
He can get
If you
sacked.
compare his numbers to
And all they
who's
say
supposed
is
to
he
be
can
the
get
defensive player of the year, Miles
All
Garrett,
they
it's
say,
not
all
even
they
close.
can say, all his numbers can say is he gets sacks. That's it.
Sheen, I would
No,
ride. Here's
they
the thing.
don't.
No, he
I
has
would ride
68.
Go look at
Why
him.
you hating
He
on
has
the one guy?
68. He has 68 tackles. Miles Garrett only has 42.
Hey, look
Shoot.
up Khalil Mack. What's Khalil Mack? at?
Crosby had
Well,
90.
Matt's got 74.
Listen. Crosby had 90. Harrison at his peak was averaging 90, and all the sacks, and the Super Bowl, and a 107-yard touchdown return for a touchdown.
Well, we all know the game was played different then than now. But hold on. Here's what, Sheen, I would ride with you, but here's the thing.
Nobody got around.
If you lead the league in sacks or you're in the top 2 or 3 for a year, 2 years, you might have had a good year. But when every year it's the same thing, come on, bro.
Yeah,
You got to – the O-lines and blocking schemes are going to block for him and account for him. They're not doing that for Highsmith. I love them, but they're not doing that for Highsmith. They're doing that for Watt.
Who you think gets doubled the most out of the 2, Chops?
Say it one more time.
Who do you think gets double teamed the most out of the 2?
Why?
Oh, boy may – hold on. Oh, boy – hold on for a second. But here's the thing. You already know –
Hold on.
you only have – there's a clock. When I tell you you have less than 3 good seconds to get the ball out because Watt is coming, that means that's something. I'm telling you, we're going around in circles. Everybody knows Watt is a ridiculous end rusher. And
I said
the
that.
dog. Here's the thing.
That's all he can do.
And again, it'd be different if the Steelers were 2-2, maybe 3-2 when he didn't play. 1-10? Come on, 1-10, bro. Do you realize they won with Duck Hodges? They won with Mason Rudolph years ago. And that was for a few games, but over 11 games, you lose 10 if Watt isn't there.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you. I already researched it. You can go to YouTube. It shows clearly he got blocked double once. That was the year he had the most sacks. It's on the YouTube. Why are you shaking your head, bro? You want to come over to your house and we watch it?
I watched it like 6 games alone this year.
I like YouTube and chill.
2
They
sacks.
either set a tight end up on that side or they put it back out there. I can't tell you how many times I saw that.
This year, Watt's been double teamed 14% of the plays, whereas Miles Garrett's 29.
How about Mia Khalifa? How many times she been double teamed?
Wiz Khalifa?
Mia.
Oh, hey, this is a school computer. I can't be looking that up, man.
I would like to know
Who's the rookie of the year?
what's
Who's
that.
the offensive rookie of the year in the NFL?
CJ Stroud.
Yeah, that's gonna go to Stroud.
Stroud.
Yep, have to be.
I mean, there's so
I
many.
think Gibbs is the second, though, in my opinion. That's just
Who?
my opinion.
Yes, yeah.
Gibbs.
Tua, and you got Gibbs.
Say that again.
Did we
You
play
got
the
Tua and Gibbs too.
That's got to go. I mean, because he's a quarterback, Stroud's getting it.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I'm just saying,
And with a rookie head coach.
a lot of rookies produced this year. I mean, not a
Yeah.
lot, like a good.
Yeah,
No, they did, Terry. They did.
Look at Willie
again,
Anderson. What did he do?
the defenses aren't like they used to
Tank
be.
Dell,
Tank Dell, yeah, before he got hurt, yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
you know.
Yeah.
How about
We did.
defensive rookie of the year?
we did play Houston this year.
DT for the Rams, because technically the Rams with Puka, however you pronounce his name. They've got a wide slot guy, whatever. He's nice, and they got a D tackle that's wrecking shop. Not Jake.
How about that corner out in Seattle, Witherspoon?
Yes, Devin Witherspoon. I like Devin Witherspoon.
Jalen Carter.
Illinois.
Isn't Carter on the
Eagles,
yeah.
minus last night.
Kobe. What is Kobe? Kobe's his name from the Rams. I can't even his last name. Kobe Turner? No, that was Jalen Turner. I don't know, but he's doing work too. He's doing work.
Who's your NFL MVP?
Yeah, Kobe Turner.
Across the board. Offensive, defensive, anything. What team can't win without this guy?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar, seriously. Even though, regardless of what it was, if Lamar's playing, Steelers don't even win that last game. Just being real with you. Just keeping it a buck. I honestly, and here's the thing. And because of that game, to me, and all that rain marks, the downpour, Lamar's playing a lot more and he's running a lot more. I think in a lot of these games, Lamar's trying to show people that he can still pass when sometimes he should run. And I don't know how many times the Steelers have beaten him, but in that game, the way that it shook out, now again, if Lamar's playing, it's different. But I just think if there had been some times where he could have made some plays, even with his legs or whatever.
Quarterback playing.
We're Hunt.
Right? Was he a Pro Bowl quarterback?
Is he a Pro Bowl quarterback?
Yeah, that's what they said.
The way the game is now.
Thinks Tyreek is the MVP. Ashton Foster thinks Tyreek's the MVP. Rasheen, you going Lamar. Chops, you going Lamar. Mike, who you going?
I'll go Lamar also. I think he's the most valuable player on his team.
Okay. Terry?
So because we hated on him, and not just because of it, but like if we cut it off week 18, I'm going with Dak.
Oh, okay.
And here's the reason
I'm
why.
sticking with Lamar. I agree with you four guys. If you take Lamar off that team's a 500 team maybe. Their defense is really good, though. I think their defense is really good. I did one of the things I did before the weekend was I pulled up a bunch of numbers on people, and one of the things I looked at was Lamar's numbers and Brock Purdy's numbers. And Purdy had better numbers than Lamar. But like Mike said, he does have a stacked team. Lamar's not playing with a stacked team from that perspective. He lost all his running backs again this year. He really doesn't have a receiver. I mean, I like Likely a lot. I think Mark Andrews coming back may help him this week. But don't forget, he's been out for how long? So that's going to be interesting to see. I think if they beat the Texans, it'll be because they beat them because of either a combination of weather and defense and some breaks. I just think the Texans are playing really good football. That's all.
Fellas, let's not forget, and when they talk about Lamar's lack of success in a lot of these playoff games, his defenses didn't show up either. Because football is the ultimate team sport. That's what I worry about more than, because if nothing else, Lamar can always drop it and run. Unless they scheme and make sure they have a spy on him, whatever have you. But
they're going to do that.
It's got to be the defense. That Ravens defense has got to show up. They've got to.
D'Amico Ryans coached in San Francisco. That's all I'm going to say. His offensive coordinator coached in San Francisco. These guys can scheme it up really good under Shanahan. I'm sorry. I buy into that guy. How long has he been a head coach in the league? 5 years? And then we know another guy that's been in the league 17 years. He has no tree. So you pick your poison there. Do you want a guy who in 5 years has put out several guys that are head coaches and offensive coordinators and other teams? Or do you want a guy who's been around for 17 years and doesn't have one guy to hang a hat on that left his staff?
Not one.
No, and they were just talking about that today on the NFL Network.
Do you realize right now, if you drop me in Hollywood right now, in 17 years, I'm going to get with a star. 17, at least one. He can't get at least one coach to go somewhere else. You drop me in Hollywood right now, with my Nike slides on and dress socks and a pair of shorts. I'm getting one.
You saying one of those stars on the Walk of Fame, or are you saying someone that's alive right now?
No, he's going to the Viper room.
Look here. In 17 years, sure.
I know you're silky smooth. I know you do a lot sooner than 17 years.
Not one coach, fellas. Think about that.
That's terrible.
What you got, Racine?
That's terrible.
So can I play advocate here too?
Yeah.
I mean, Tomlin's giving people chances that probably others won't. So I mean, when you especially in the NFL when you're dealing with nepotism, lots of nepotism, plenty of nepotism.
And I get that. However, in bitty football, everybody gets an opportunity. Here in the NFL, which old Glenville, what your boys say, not for long.
Not for long.
It is about wins, Jack. It is about wins. And he just don't have enough of them. He just don't. That to me.
But if Tomlin knows that it's his decision when I'm leaving, I can hire whoever I want, even though they said, because trust me, his staff is terrible. I looked at it. I'm like, who are these dudes? But
whose stats?
I'll say this much too, and then we can move on to the last piece. T-Sizzle, it's going to be your piece. If Tomlin truly is playing out his contract and not getting an offer for an extension, he's not going to go out and hire offensive coordinator. He's not going to replace his defensive coordinator. You're going to see the same guys, most likely in the same roles, getting the same results next year.
Because he knows.
I mean, it's like throwing shit off the wall and hoping at least one piece sticks at some point.
But Mark, here's the thing. I'm looking at him. I'm drawing a blank. His D coordinator. No, 2-3 years ago. I'm looking at him. He's one matter of fact who said they were about to play the Bengals, and he said we have to scheme for their tight end, and the tight end was on the IR. He had, man, what was his name? Whoever the Steelers D coordinator was.
The kid from Notre Dame at the time.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about.
So, but here's my thing. It doesn't matter who Tomlin is going to hire if he does hire an O coordinator, does hire a D coordinator. For the last X amount of years, he is the same cat. You haven't had a playoff win since 2016. Fellas, 2016? 2016? Yep. Come on, man. That to me is crazy. 2016? That's crazy, dog.
That's not Steeler football then.
That's crazy. That to me, and to me, they need to take that plaque down. The standard is the standard because
it is 2016 and they're 0-4 since 2016.
Yeah.
Owen
hasn't had a win. Has not had a win in the playoffs since 2016. Not a win.
And
what's his overall
playoffs? He's only had four of those seasons that he's made the playoffs. He's had a win.
I think he's like 8-9 in the playoffs, Noobs. He's not much over 500.
He's sub 500. He might be 8-10 now. Yep. Hey, T-Sizz, what do you got for us this week?
All right. So we're approaching Super Bowl 58. Let's test your, I don't know what, elementary, middle school, junior high math. What are the Roman numerals?
Zach Eifert
for 58.
X V I.
Nope. LV. I.
Oh, man.
So who was in the first Super Bowl 58 years ago?
Green Bay and
Indianapolis.
No.
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And the Pack won that, right? Pack won that.
Yeah. Pack
Where did the term Super Bowl supposedly come from?
Is that when the AFL and NFL?
Bam Morris.
Super Bowl. Super Bowl. You're on to something there, Chops. It's when Lamar Hunt with the AFL joined, and he came up with the term Super Bowl after his son Lamar Hunt Jr. said he named it, gave him the idea from his Super Ball toy. One of those things.
Interesting.
There you go.
Yeah, good factoid. Sheen, what's your question of the week, baby?
What's your favorite book? You guys read books at all? I think maybe I see any book. I see books behind you, New Vassar. Favorite book? You give the crowd a book that you might have read that you like. No, Chop. You're saying
is
no?
Is that the Bible?
With fire and sword. Okay.
Yeah, Heinrich Sienkiewicz. Very good. So, long story short, a guy I knew recommended it. I decided I'll go ahead and go for it. Really cool book, man. It's about Eastern Europe and Russia, the Russian steppe. It's kind of historical fiction, like 1,100 pages, but it was worth it. It was a really good read.
Okay. These are all teachers, by the way, people. I just want y'all to know. These are people teaching your kids.
So we shouldn't say 50 Shades of Grey. All right.
Pause.
What? Yeah, I like that historical fiction too. The Dan Brown books really get me intrigued. I like them Dan Brown books.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a science fiction kind of guy.
Yes.
First of all, I don't read a lot of books. I like to read articles. I like to read, that's the kind of stuff I like to read.
I'm a very factual reader. But my favorite books that I've ever read, to be quite honest with you, are all the Harry Potter books. And I read them all. Each one of them, when I would read one, I'd read it probably in 2 days. I just, well written, kept me captivated. So that's what I like.
Cool.
Man, my wife not only loves Harry Potter, she rereads the books. And I'm like, who rereads a book? She'd be like, you rewatch movies. Point taken. And if there's ever a Harry Potter movie on, I say, babe, look down. I'll pause the TV. She looks down.
Pause.
I put it on. Boom. I'll let her hear 2 or 3 words. And I'm not lying to you. I've done it probably 12 to 15 different times. She can tell me which Harry Potter movie it is by just hearing 2 or 3 words. That's pretty cool. Let me tell you something. She has bribed me with everything in the world. I didn't have to do housework, whatever, everything you can think of. She's bribed me with. If I watch one Harry Potter movie, I couldn't get through 30 minutes. I couldn't do it.
One of those swords,
science fiction.
Alakazam, and cleans the house.
I couldn't do it, man. She has one. She got it from Disney or whatever, and she was like, "We want to go to We got into an argument one time. It's a true story. My wife, educated woman, she called me a muggle. Okay, Mark, you know what it is. I had no idea what it is. She said, "You're such a muggle." I said, "Okay." First off, I thought she was cursed, whatever. I said, "What is a muggle?" She said, "Someone who has no magical powers."
Wow.
We're all muggles. You realize that, right?
Wow.
That's actually kind of funny.
She takes it serious, man. My favorite books, kind of crazy. It's true story. Wow. One is What They Never Told You. It's called What They Never Told You in History Class. Deals a lot with Black history. The other, Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing by Judy Blume.
There you go.
I love that book back in the day.
The Vanderbilt Library, right by the side.
I'll still read some Timber Toes if I come across them.
Hey, if you want to dip back like that, I loved the Boxcar Children when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Back in the day. That was interesting
All
reading.
Right. It got good. I thought it was going to go downhill. It got good. Thank you.
Yeah, it got good. Hey, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you. Let's start with Chops.
Man, honestly, I don't do social media like I should, but they can find me at The Real Big Chops on Twitter. Holla at your boy.
Excellent. Sheen?
Come on, man. Go ahead, New Bazzer.
Get in where you fit in.
He's easy to find.
He's easy to find. He's easy to find, y'all.
Well, Michael Gregory Mills on here on Facebook.
You can find him on Snapchat. You can find him on TikTok. You can find him on Facebook. You can
MySpace.
Noobs, where we finding you?
Nice. We're on X and Instagram at Coach Noob. I need to post some more projects on Instagram. I want to post some stuff.
It's coming.
Yeah, and if you can find me, let me know. I can't remember where I'm at.
One Young Terry.
That One Young Terry on the X. And
you got to put the student loan people to find Terry.
Yeah.
They'll find anybody.
Hey, connect with us here on the Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maradei and the Barbershop crew. You can check out our website at Podpage, Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maradei. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and obviously YouTube. A big shout out in terms of YouTube. We are all on 3 different places. We're on our own page, and we're on the Let's Talk Sports Network as well as the Sideline Sports Network. And a big announcement, you guys, we have been picked up by Manning Media Solutions. So we are now part of their network. They own the radio stations in Frederick and up in Hagerstown. So we will now be on their app and doing some bigger things, to be quite honest with you. Feel free to let us know if you have any comments, questions, suggestions by emailing us at originalsportspodcast@gmail.com. Shout out to Sean Ankoviak for our voice intro. Shout out to Charlie Hodgson for our intro and outro music. Charlie just wrote us a new song that will go into effect season 5. Shout out to my wife for being the webmaster. And join us next week to experience the O on the Original Sports Podcast. We'll see you next Tuesday, everybody.
Dude, I could have done the song. That's all I'm